Howdy, howdy, and happy Monday, Winner's Circle. Okay. Boom. Love it. Got that set up. I can hear my voice coming from my computer over here. So let me fix that really quick. Hey, I didn't tell you to do this. Bad. Dope. And we're off. Let me pop Mr. Topic of the day in here. Today's topic of discussion. Personal finance 101. Send. Nice. Okay, cool. About ready to set her off, baby. Hope everybody's start to the week is good so far. We're getting rolling a couple minutes early here, but only a couple. Tonight we've got, as usual, some Fortnite and Rocket League. Our topic of discussion is personal finance, or Personal Finance 101, kind of an intro to personal finance, and some things related to that. Oh my goodness. I got this new pickaxe, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's all mental. I am very slow to adjust to new pickaxes. But we'll get used to it. I was ready for a new one that looks a little cooler. This one's awesome. Like a sword. At the end of the day, it's all the same. The reticle's the same, the swing time's the same. I just, oh man. Tried a sword years ago and was like, why am I not hitting anything? But I'm confident that won't be the case today. I'm gonna get in here and play a warm-up game. We'll get rolling on some of the topic stuff. Be off to the races for the next 2, maybe 3 hours today. Might go a little extra. I cut pretty much all of them at about 2 hours last week, and if and when I'm feeling it, I'd like to get a little extra time in. So that just might be today. Definitely want to get some extra time in today and probably a little on Wednesday too, because I don't believe I'll be streaming on Friday. Got some plans. So I might, it is iffy. It is very, very iffy. So try to keep putting the time in at about the same level. An extra hour or two here and there will add up to the same 6-hour normally scheduled programmed material. Got the old IU Polo on today. My boys took it home on Saturday against #1 ranked Purdue, so that was pretty exciting. Figured it'd be a good time to bust the old Polo out. See, there we go, Aaron. It's not that hard to hit the circles with the new pickaxe, right? Chest in there. sorry. Made sure it was going on there, but I'm not one to not take advantage of an easy kill. Can I have that? Thank you. Can I have it? Can I have your shotgun? No. Come back here. Oh, wait. Oh, why did I do that? Second one. Oh boy. Alright. Just based on that encounter alone, we're going Thunder Shotgun today, not Heavy Shotgun. I can't keep falling into the trap of relying on the Heavy, so I won't today. Get something, no. Shield related in there, no. Alright, we'll snag this guy. Feeling good today. I think I got about 12 and a half hours of sleep last night, so boy is ready to rock and roll. No jacket today. Had to rep the IU polo, homeboy. Let's see, I'm gonna need another one of these, so punch that up there, take these. Oh, that's so funny how it works that way. I swear, any pickaxe change results in a lot of missed pickaxing. And it should legitimately make hardly any, if any, at all difference. I don't even know where I threw this juice. There it is. I'm gonna try to loot this other building really quick and then I can get the heck out of here. Just loot a little bit of it. Go through the whole thing. Nope, nothing up there. Let's just go. Hi there. Not doing it. Zoom. Heck out of here. Stuff. Get this real quick. That'll help a little bit. Boom. Alright, now I can really go. No jacket. Oh, I see this with the Looking good. I'm trying to. It's hard to look bad when you got such a great looking logo on your shirt, you know what I'm saying? Definitely an exciting game this weekend. Oh my goodness, look at this, I'm missing. Let's see, there might be, nope. This, yeah, that is gonna come in big time handy. Collect ranged weapons. Aren't most of them? Maybe they consider pistols and ARs, but not SMGs or shotguns. Ranged weapons. That was silly of me to take all that extra damage. Trouble already. Yeah, I was not ready for that, sir. Whatever. Not the best warm-up game. I'm gonna get another warm-up in before I start talking any topic stuff. Ease into it, see if we have any late arrivals today. That's still good there. We will be diving into personal finance shortly. Topic that I am very passionate and ever so somewhat educated on. But I love talking about it. That's the most important part. I love talking about personal finance. Like many and most other topics I'll talk about, I think it is a very under-discussed topic, and we have a very severe lack of education on it here in the US of A. Frustrating to die against a kid like that and not even get a shot on. That was unfortunate. Should have been a lot more. I was too focused on getting that hammer. Should have been more focused on my surroundings. I'm gonna go with one of my newer drop spots I was using over the weekend that I think could really be solid for a good mix between hot and not hot. I don't think this drop spot is very hot in and of itself, but at least it's in an area where there's a lot of other stuff, and there's a very easy way to rotate out of here, so. I'll try to rock with this a handful of times today. This tower right here, which has a launch pad on it, and is a really high part of the map, so if I need to launch long distance, I can. If I need to launch short distance and try to go get involved in one of the fights over here in Brutal Bastion, I can also do that, so. Come on. Focus on the chest. Another red eye. Oh, goodness. There is, believe it or not, a decent amount of loot here in this place, so. Oh, goodness. Very cool. I was like, really not trying to take fall damage right off the rip here. Take that, use that as a sniper spot. Yeah, I don't think anybody landed here, but I'm okay with that, because early game, I don't really like to get involved in a bunch of fights if I'm not prepared for them. I think this is a good way to kind of get a little bit of loot. Where's this? Ah, it's got to be on that little left. Or not. Ah. Really shouldn't be that difficult, but apparently it was. How did I not hear that earlier? Okay. Up here. Nice. See, at least I've got something to work with now. Here. This is another reason, is even outside of the normal loot in this area, there are these little pockets under these brick buildings, and in a lot of these across the map, honestly, are these little pockets with some extra loot. And it's like, man, if there are 2 of these in a lot of places, you can either get some free shield or some extra buried chests. Very helpful stuff. The other one, I think, is on the inside. That's right. I think there's... Nope, not a chest in there. This, like that. Now, I can run up here. Oh, goodness. I like that. I also like that, so hopefully I don't do exactly what I just did. Miss! So tired of missing with that heavy shotgun, because I suck. Actually, I can go take this mini that I dropped up here. Using our brain today. Where did I drop the mini at? Maybe, no? Oh, might as well just use this one. 1, 2, 3. Pull again. And then we can go. I think the minis down here. Yep, there it is. Ease. Whatever. Yeah, I hear you down there. Okay. Go back up to the top. Use these augments, pad away. Wow, okay, of course. Yeah! Oh, shouldn't have done that. You over here. Double headshots with a burst round. That is painful. A gold burst, nonetheless. Okay. Scare the crap out of me. Don't believe there's a pad here. Why can I not hit these? That's so funny. Oh wow, that is very tempting. If I didn't already have a gold burst, I would do it. This guy is right in this area. To. I think this is another bot with that glitch. Ouch. Why am I getting melted so quick today? Oh, got it. Get dumpstered. That's what you get. I'm just gonna burn all this. I imagine there are more heals in my general area. Save a little bit of that. Oh boy. Still in there? No, he's not. Try to bank these to where they just drop in. Nope. Heals, heals, heals. Alright, that helps. I'll release another one of these. Should not stand by the window and do this. Roll that. Basically dead center of zone, that's good news. Oh boy. Please go. Please go. Inside. Okay. Doesn't look like anybody marked me, which is good news. going to be at a disadvantage with no power weapons here. I'm going to try to get my hands on one ASAP. Alright, they're going to have to come my way. There must be a guy up in there. Who is he shooting at? Okay, well, yeah, whoever it is, he's dead. Ooh, I should not build over that. It's highly likely I'm going to need to drop down on it. Get the heck out of here. How did none of those hit? I swear that they got so finicky with this gun. Okay. I'm going to let this 5 seconds run out, and then pad to wherever I need to go. Okay. This area is really tricky because of all the ice. I'm just gonna build. Okay. I don't really have builds to sit here for too much longer, so... Yeah, this is what I'm talking about with the ice. Struggling a little bit. Well, not struggling that hard. I should have been quicker on the draw there. He's literally, this kid has just been obliterating, or not obliterating, abusing the power-ups this whole game. He had a Deku, and the Nimbus, and the Kamehameha. Love it! Forget melody. I always just skip these. I don't really care unless it's something I'm really passionate about. Okay. Alright, get another one going here. That wasn't too bad. 5th place, I think. And put some more ice in my cup here. And we'll dive in a little bit on the topics, finally. Alright, we're warmed up. Got my water. Iced up. Let's do it. Alright, so to finally get into the topic for today. Surveys are what makes Fortnite so great. I agree. I don't feel passionately about most of the stuff that they ask about. Like, they'll ask about, like, corn or launch pads, and I'm like, launch pads are perfect. Corn, like, who cares? You really only use it every couple times in a month, really, at most. Like, if they asked about the power-ups, you best believe I'm going to be getting in there on that. But I agree. The feedback and the keen ear they take to feedback is really important, and I believe, agreed, it does make the game a lot better. But yeah, so to dive in on personal finance 101, if you will. Personal finance is basically just how you take care of your money. I think that this is something that we need to be teaching at a very early age. A lot of people that I've talked to have said that they never were educated at all on personal finance. I think I had, like, in a high school gym class that basically had, like, some personal health or something like that was maybe the name of the class. We had some gym days and then some computer days where we would go through health outside of just your physical health. I think we maybe did 1 or 2 sessions on personal finance and, like, stuff like that, and that's certainly better than nothing, but you need a lot more than that, in my opinion. I don't even know if most folks get that, the 2 days or whatever that I got, so severely under discussed, and we're going to try to fix a little bit of that today. But yeah, I think there are some very, very important beginning concepts of personal finance that can make a huge difference. One of which applies to every income level of personal finance. I don't care if you're a high schooler and you now have a part-time job, or if you are a CEO, CFO of a Fortune 500. This most certainly can apply to you, or anywhere in between. But I think something really important to think about when it comes to personal finance is you can't count, your income as income until it hits your bank account. So a quote that I really love, it's associated with that concept, is it's what you don't spend, not what you make, that you get to take to the bank. So I don't care if your income is $1,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $100 million a year. You can only deposit in the bank what you don't spend. I mean, maybe you can just deposit it and then spend it, but you get what I'm going. You hopefully understand what I'm getting at there. The money left over after you have spent for the month is what stays in your bank account. That might even be a better way to describe and talk about it. Is at the end of the month, your income is only income and still remains in your bank account if you haven't spent it. Oh, great. Wow. I think some of these kids are bots, and they have been lasering me today. That's depressing. Let's see. I'm gonna pop one of these. So yeah, I don't care how much you make. Whatever you don't spend is what you get to deposit. So I think closing that gap and breaking people out of the income is so important, and how much money you make is so important. Breaking people out of that cocoon is first and foremost what I'd like to do. Because I mean, it's so taboo in the U.S. Like, people love to just talk about, oh, how much do you know, how much money do you make? It's not something you ask a stranger or whatever, but people love to talk about how much money they make and this, that, and the other. And so many people that make a lot of money do not have as good of personal finance and as good of a balance sheet, almost, if you will, as people who make less money than them. And I think, for me at least, I have fallen into that trap a little bit over the years. But I've never made over 6 figures, so you know, while it's been close to that, I haven't fallen into that trap as bad as some other people have. But most certainly, when my income goes up, my spending usually goes up, and there's a certain amount of that that's almost expected, and it's not the end of the world. But I think people so often get caught up in, oh, how much I make, how much I make, how much I make, when in reality, if you manage it better than someone who makes, you know, more, you could be doing better than them financially. So focusing more on what's left over at the end of the month is a much better gauge and read for an individual's personal finance than how much money they make. So yeah, first off, it's not what you earn, but what you don't spend that you get to put in the bank. That's, I guess, first big concept for today. Maybe even as a predecessor to that I probably should have started on, which I start with most of my topics on this sort of thing, is first and foremost, no matter where you're at with personal finance, I would encourage you to take inventory of where that is. Even if you would rate yourself at a 1.5 out of 10 on a 10 scale, taking inventory is the first step to making any sort of change. So figure out, where am I at personal finance wise? Take inventory of your income, your expenses, what you currently have in the bank, your debts, all that jazz, and that'll give you your starting point. Because as I'll talk about a lot tonight, personal finance is not a one-size-fits-all. Your individual personal finance is going to be different than mine, different than your boss's, different than your parents. What's going on? Everything is based on an individual scenario. So none of this numbers-wise would or will ever apply, because your numbers aren't going to be the same as anyone else's. So you've got to look at it from taking inventory of where you're at, and then applying some of the stuff that I talked about tonight to that, where you're at. Well, I really needed a launch pad in that building. I think somebody might have broken it. I'm pretty sure there's one up in this other building. I'm not too concerned about health quite yet. So yeah, take a step back, take inventory, assess where you're at, and that will allow you to begin, you know, your personal finance journey. I really hope there isn't. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna snag this. Pop 2 of these. Shove this one. Gotta get it. So yeah, take a step back, analyze where you're at, take it inventory of everything. The more detailed, the better. But any starting point is a starting point. You can build from there. So get started with some level of inventory, and yeah, so that'll probably do it for step 1, I guess. Step 1, and then step 2, recognize that you can only deposit what you don't spend in the bank every month. Is that a llama symbol or footstep symbol? It's definitely a footsteps, and it's caught out here. Is that illuminating based on a Cash register. What it do, baby? What's up, man? What's up, Mr. Tipsy Taco? Welcome, welcome. Just finally getting rolling on the topic. I did a couple warm-up games just to get a chance for folks to join if they wanted to. And for me to kind of get the games going a little here, too, so. These. It's funny how often I get that pistol amp. Okay, I need to get out of this gas station because it's really not a great spot. Sprint on over here. And start here for now. So I would say that step 2, or maybe step 3, on personal finance journey is set some goals. And I know that that's very cliche. Nobody likes setting goals, but people talk about it all the time. But what I don't mean is get a list of 10 number-related things that you want to accomplish. Just keep it simple. Let's say you just want to get to a net positive for the month. I'd say that is a fantastic first goal. Is let's get my numbers, get my inventory taken of where my numbers are at. And let's see, based on my monthly spending and monthly income, looks like I'm actually losing about $15 a month in my bank account. No wonder I got no money left right now. I'm sure I'll probably pop one. But I mean, that's a fantastic first goal, is get your, maybe figure out your net monthly amounts. Goodness gracious. Oh! Turned out to be a little bit close. Shveti lobbies tonight. Shveti lobbies. Figure out your net monthly gain or loss, and then if it's negative, get to the point where it's positive. Some other goals might be, I want to get out of consumer debt. There's a big difference between consumer debt and general debt. What I mean by consumer debt is credit cards or stuff an amount you've racked up at Best Buy or a furniture store or Verizon for your phone, whatever. That's consumer debt. It's like things that you have purchased that aren't necessarily necessities. I understand a phone and furniture and some electronics might be important to most people, but they're not essential for you to live every day. So consumer debt is often stuff that really packs a high punch when it comes to the interest rates. I think it's pretty common nowadays to have a 25 to 35% interest rate on stuff like phones, furniture, clothes. Most of your consumer debt credit cards have really high monthly interest rates right now. So that's what you want to take a look at first when it comes to looking at your debt, is do I have any consumer debt that is racking me up a bunch of interest, aka money that I have to pay to them just for owing this debt in the first place. Get rid of that stuff ASAP. So figure out your monthly net gain or net loss. Get it to a point where it is a net gain, and then place that amount towards your consumer debt until it's gone. Stuff like houses and cars is a little bit different. Usually that's a fixed, amount that's a lot less. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my personal credit card has a 28% monthly interest incurment, like if you don't have it paid off at the end of a certain month, land over here, so I think there's a challenge over here. Pretty sure if you don't pay it off at the end of the month, you incur like something ungodly, like a 24 or 28% interest for that month. So it's like, oh hey, you owe us $1,000. You haven't paid us, so we're just gonna go ahead and tack on $240 to that amount. So I know you were struggling to pay us $1,000, but have fun with $1,240. Especially cards like furniture and electronics. I want to say that those are some of them that are like 32%, like ridiculously high. Alright, got one homeboy here. I haven't even touched this part of the map in months and months. Yeah, get out of consumer debt ASAP. Tomorrow would be great. If you have cash and you have consumer debt, pay down your consumer debt. But yeah, I mean, there's so many people that that I have chatted with in the past that have consumer debt that they're sitting on, and I don't know if it's that they don't know their interest rates, or that maybe they're in a position where they can't pay it, which I imagine basically everybody falls into that boat at some point. But the goal is to get out of that ASAP, because you are pissing money down the credit card toilet if you fall into that category. So get out as soon as you can. There's no shame there, of course, but I'm just encouraging you to get out as soon as you can for your own good. Grab this. There's really not much of any good loot here right now. Okay. Or maybe homeboy left. So yeah, take inventory. Get your monthly net numbers in order. And ASAP knock out any sort of consumer debt you have. Now, I'd say your next step then... I don't think this helps a ton. Forecast helps a ton in build mode. Solos? It definitely does help, but I will delay it for right now and hopefully come back to it. Your next step would be delay gratification, especially if you have consumer debt or debt you're trying to pay off. What delayed gratification means is putting off things that are not necessary until things that are more important are taken care of. And this, again, of course, is going to be different for everybody. And I think that the more dire your financial situation is will determine how intense you need to be with this. But putting off things that aren't necessary to save money, to get into a better financial point, so that when you do end up going through with, a vacation or going out to eat or buying a TV or whatever, when you go through with that, it doesn't cause you any financial stress. And that is, great for the mental, great for the finance, your financial picture in general. But I think it just helps you, I guess on the mental side, you don't have to feel guilty about anything. You know that you're rewarding yourself for doing a good job as opposed to spending money that you shouldn't be. That, at least for me, always makes me feel guilty, and I enjoy said thing a lot less. Where if I get to the end of it and I'm like, man, I didn't have as great of a time as I thought I was going to, or I really didn't enjoy that steak dinner as much as I thought I was going to. That's a bummer. That can happen a lot more commonly if you're spending money that you shouldn't. But nowadays, for me at least, I mean, I've done a decent job over the years of these types of practices, and because of it, I don't have to care. I don't have to feel guilty while I'm there. I don't have to take a look at it at the end of a certain experience and say, oh, that wasn't worth it, I shouldn't have done that. It's just like, whatever. As long as it doesn't affect me, then I don't care. At least to a certain degree. So, delay gratification as much as possible. I would really, really recommend and encourage everyone to delay gratification until, first and foremost, most important, you're out of consumer debt. Number 2, you have an emergency fund, and everybody's emergency fund looks a little bit different. I would say that no matter who and what you are, you should have at least $1,000 in your emergency fund that you do not touch unless it is an absolute emergency. So I'm not saying absolute emergency as in, oh, I'm, $40 short on my rent, let me just dip into my emergency fund. I would say in that scenario, try to figure out a way to make some money, or cut back on one of your nights of, your nights out, or going out to eat, or eat ramen noodles for 2 days. I don't care. Do whatever you can to not touch that emergency fund. When I say emergency fund, I'm talking like a medical emergency, or your car breaks down. Something that is not budgeted for is an emergency. So if you budget for, if you budget for electric or gas, and your gas or electric is a little higher than it normally is, that's not a time to dip into the emergency fund. I wouldn't consider that a true emergency. I would, again, encourage you to find another place to conjure up another, $20, $30 to make up for that. Your emergency fund should truly be an emergency fund. And the more you ease up and let yourself tap into that fund, the more grace you're going to give yourself to tap into that emergency fund. And next thing you know, your $1,000 emergency fund is down at $600, and it hasn't been above there in 8 months. So, use your emergency fund in emergencies only. So get yourself an emergency fund. I'd say a minimum of $1,000, but there are some conflicting rules of thumb for what an emergency fund should look like. After you're through step 1 and kind of have gotten some of your finances in order a little bit, for me, my goal, which I don't know exactly if I am at this or not, I'd say probably not, but probably pretty close, is 3 to 6 months of your income in the bank. I probably got the 3, but the 6 is probably something I should still keep working towards. The 3 to 6 months of income in the bank, that will protect you against any major economic shifts that could totally screw you. Where'd you go? Back. He just hit me with that. I'm so annoyed with this game right now. Might be a short Fortnite day at this rate, boys. Ticket for one. Get some of this. Mostly that. Pop diesel. Hopefully nobody's looking at me, but. Let's get a Maven shot. Going bow. I really need to do some damage right now because. Well, that category is far. Pick them up, thank you. Should let me pick these up and pop them at the same time, but maybe that's changed. It still didn't make any difference. I have all my augments. Shouldn't. Go, go, go. Phew! That should be someone's last resort of food. If they have debt, parents are insanely crazy with this. Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. Some of those non-necessity services and things like that where, you know, I am no saint in that category, but I need to get food. But it's because it doesn't really make a difference to my monthly bottom line whether or not I DoorDash 4 or 12 or 20 times in a month. So up until, you know, that was the case, I was being a lot more diligent with those types of lazy spending habits. Minimum 6 months to a year of rent or mortgage, for sure. I think, again, depending on where you're at, you got to set the amount and set the bar to where it's attainable. So once you've kind of conquered step one, that is a fantastic one to try to go after. But if you're still in the early stages of personal finance, you don't want to set your bar too high because then it just seems like a mountain that's insurmountable. Alright, I need to check myself. One of these. Get the heck out of here. This power up is. Are you. Did he just hit me for 72 in the head? Holy cow. Wow, I suck. I really suck. Man, I was close to hitting that shot. There's no chance. I'm probably going to go one more game and then go to Rocket League because I can't take an entire night of this. And we're already about at an hour. Whew! Monday fun day. I've done some pretty long Fortnite days, thank you very much. So yeah, anyways, 3 to 6 months, great goal to strive for, but one step at a time, right? 10K is a good rule of thumb, absolutely. I've used the 10K rule for my emergency fund for a while. And here's why, because I agree. Again, all this stuff is situational, right? If you are a family, you got wife, kids, home, all that, 6 months minimum, you need that because God knows what kind of stuff can go wrong for that sort of situation. I mean, you could have your heating and air go out, a kid go to the hospital, fill in the blank. You know, one of your 2 or 3 cars have repairs needed. You could have to shell out 10 grand in a hurry. So 10 grand for that sort of situation, while it applies to mine and it works for me, ain't gonna work for you. So it's all situational. But to start 1,000 at minimum, once you hit 1,000, maybe set it at 3,000. And you know, never go below 3,000 unless absolute, you know, calamity occurs. And as soon as you're through that, right back on the grind to my whole focus is to build this back up to 3,000. And delay gratification for that. Put off everything that you have to put off. Because, I mean, if you're below 3K, you clearly have noticed that you have to tap into it sometimes. So build it back up before going on vacation, before doing really much of anything. Get it back up ASAP. But for me, at least, I'm single. You know, sure, I could get fired and then, you know, things would be a big deal for me. But I've learned a lot of tips and tricks, that some of which I'll go through here in a little bit. Some of those side business or little ways to make money that I know that even if I only have 10K in the bank, if I get fired and have to go through a drought of no income, I know that I would be okay. So for me, 10K works. But yeah, that's kind of the going back to the beginning part of take inventory. That, you know, it's different for everybody. Take inventory and figure out what you need for where you're at currently, and revisit that once a year maybe, and make adjustments as needed. Yeah, you got to be able to pay all of your bills. 10K is rule of thumb, or 5K if you can't do 10K for sure. And that's kind of what I was getting is if you don't have an emergency fund, start with 1,000, then go to 3,000, then go to 5,000, then depending on your situation, increase or stay at where you're at. But 10K is a great place to aim. So yeah, let's see. So you want your emergency fund, you want your consumer debt gone. See. I'd say it's good practice to start looking at proactively upgrading some of your necessities. Maybe like your car. If you got a rickety car, proactively save up to buy a new car after, you know, those last couple of steps. Proactively save up to buy a new computer or a new phone if you've been struggling for it. You don't want those things to catch you by surprise. You want to be prepared for them. Might as well hot drop, because honestly, it's going to have the same result one way or another. Not hot drop, but drop a little hotter. Drop it like it's hot. But yeah, prepare for those sort of things. So start setting money aside to buy a new car if you know you're going to have to in the next couple of years. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 years out. If it's something that's on your mind, start saving for it now. Don't tap into your emergency fund for that. Don't tap into any other, you know, of your goals. Make that a separate goal. I'm going to set aside $100 a month towards a new car. If you don't need a new car, you could look at other things. You know, with me having a lot of experience in the cell phone and HVAC industries, phones get expensive nowadays. So if your phone shits out on you and either you break it or it's not keeping up anymore with the updates and the battery is low and it's something that's, you know, a big deal to you is having a good phone, start saving now. Set that money aside, and even if you don't get 100% of it taken care of, you might be able to take half of the cost of the phone from a separate fund outside of your checking account, your emergency fund, and be able to just plop that money right on the either initial payment or the monthly payment that you end up going with. Being prepared for that sort of stuff. I don't have a gun. This is great. Not prepared for battle, unfortunately. Being prepared for stuff is key. That. I might as well move this up. tell if they're in that building or nope, outside of it. It's running away. I'm gonna try to lure him back. I don't even need to. I really want to burn these nades and just use them in some way. Been trying to do that a lot more as of like, oh, I've got an inventory slot. Let me just see if I can do some crazy shit with these nades. But not necessary. Anyway, so proactively saving for some things you know are likely coming up. I think that that's a good next step for your early personal finance journey. I'd say a next one doesn't necessarily have to come after that last one, and obviously these are all recommendations, so do whatever you want. But a good thing to look at next is some ways to make additional money. It's going to help all of your goals go quicker, or maybe you can close the gap on some of them if you're not saving as much as you wish you were. Look at finding some ways to make additional money. A couple of ones that come to mind for me. I've used multiples of these. Uber Lyft driving is one. DoorDash, which was mentioned earlier, that's another one. Manual labor. I did a ton of manual labor related stuff back in the day. Nobody send this to the IRS, but a lot of that money is often, you know, tax-free. Go do some yard work, 10 bucks an hour. Cash at the end of the day. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but finding some folks in the area who, at least for me, this was how it worked out, as older folks in my neighborhood found out that they had some things they needed done. I just scheduled with them and knocked those things out, made some money, got my name passed around town. This went on for about 3 years, and by the end of it, I had worked for probably 22 different people in my town. My name was a lot of places, and I made some decent money. It's good for you, you know, good exercise. But that was in addition to whatever else I was doing for work at the time. As I was aggressively trying to make money and make some things happen when I was younger. So any way I could find to make extra money, I was getting my hands on it. Another one I would say, which is really easy, kind of a two-parter, is sell old junk that might have value that you aren't using anymore. And that can lead you into the picking business. I think there's maybe a more commonly used term for it, but the buy and sell business, where you can buy stuff online, you can buy stuff at garage sales, you can buy stuff from people you know, just buying stuff and selling it for higher. I have done a little bit of that in my day. It's a little less reliable. There's a little bit more risk involved, so for me at least, I knew that I had manual labor to offer just about all day, every day. So I was like, I would rather do this because I know that this is consistent and is pure income. I don't want to buy something and have, you know, the realization that it's actually not worth as much as I thought it was. But it's more of a long-term thing. You can get into that if that's something of interest to you. You can certainly make a lot of money doing that. Gary Vaynerchuk, who is the CEO of a really big wine company and a media company on the East Coast, he talks a lot about that as a way to make money. And garage sailing is the easiest way for the highest profits on that. Is go to garage sales, lowball the shit out of people. Most of them are trying to get rid of stuff anyways. Say, hey, I'll give you $1 for this, and you might know that it's worth $8. You might even be able to take it to a pawn shop or something and get $4, and at least you made $3 profit. But you can use that concept in a lot of different things. The buying and reselling. You can get stuff at Goodwill. That's a super easy one because a lot of that stuff has value and sometimes is even new, where garage sailing is a lot of, 20-year-old jeans or jean shorts or New Balance shoes. But a lot of stuff at Goodwill has, a higher chance of having legitimate value. That might be a lot. He's probably still going to give me the business, though. I got one hit. I did. Look at this. How did that just go through him? I'm so confused, Fortnite. Why is nothing hitting today? I was burst firing a guy who was in the middle of a Kamehameha earlier, and I was clearly directly on him, and it just missed like 6 bullets in a row. But maybe I just suck. Yeah, so labor-related things like DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Wag. I mean, that's one that, you go walk people's dogs and such. The buy-sell stuff is a really good way to do it. Some people are arts and crafters, where I have even friends who make jewelry or arts and craft type of stuff, and it costs them 80 cents a piece for each thing, and they can sell it for $5. I mean, it's all profit. So see if you have access to any of those, the ability to do any of those. Those are ways that you can make extra money. I really don't like being out here when I know there was so much shooting going on around a minute ago. Please, unless somebody lands on me. Nope. I hate these guys so much. That is bad news. Get the heck out of here. I'm not gonna be quick enough. Yep. What is that? Lisa. Can I switch to brick, please, for the 3rd time? Here, I'll take some damage. Get it together here. Just gonna scare him and then run away. Run. Keyword run. I think I might have the glider thing, right? Find out. Yep, I do. Should probably use it to go the correct way towards the zone. It's just not there mentally today on Fortnite for whatever reason. Only a 1 tick. Really banking on there being some whiteness in here, and if not, I'm just gonna die. Is what it is. There we go. Helps. My heals, nice. Only a 2 ticks, so these are probably still helpful. Pop this other augment. That's great. Please give me one. Nope. Up here. Just gonna build all of my wood. Most of it. should have still gone higher, honestly. Yeah, this is not looking pretty. Bummer. Sweet. Three things my grandpa always told me to have high quality things is your car, your shoes, and your bed. Faux show. We spend a lot of time with you know, involving those three things nowadays. I would say that, yeah, an office chair, that's a great one to add, and I would say your phone. For me, at least nowadays, I like having a good phone because you could very easily get stuck, you know, in an emergency and you need good service. Or if your phone's dying all the time, for me at least, that's a priority in my life. So, car, shoes, and bed, faux show. I'm with you on that though. He's still doing manual labor. Yeah, manual labor on these sticks. This ain't going too well. I definitely got passed around town. In a yard work way, of course. Wondering all the hats were in the background. Yep. Well, now you know. Yard work. Screw you, Fortnite. Forgot that cuts everything off, so I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, before I switch over and get caught up and distracted in other things. So we talked about a couple of extra ways to make money, a couple of other ones that I think are really solid, and they're not even necessarily income, they sort of are, but you'll understand what I mean in a second. Some more ways you can positively impact your monthly net gain or loss, hopefully gain, is taking advantage of any sort of auto pay stuff. So for me at least, I get $5 off my phone bill because I have it on auto pay. If you're not doing that sort of stuff, now if it's because you don't have the funds to do it every time, that's different. But if you have the funds to do it, do it. Save yourself $5. Take advantage of rewards points like Kroger or grocery points or whatever for, you know, money off your gas, rewards points for fast food, anything that you're doing consistently. If they offer rewards points, run it. Those things can add up and into not all that much, but again, if you're at the early point in your personal finance and you've got some things you're trying to accomplish, take advantage of everything you can. Another one, this is again for a little bit further down the road for a lot of folks, is get a credit card that rewards you with cash back rewards points. And that do not do that until you can guarantee to yourself and to the credit company that you can pay it off on auto pay every single month. Because if you miss one payment, your entire yearly gains are likely down the drain. But get a credit card that you know you can pay off and set it up on auto pay that gives you cashback rewards points. I probably make $250 to $400 a year on cashback rewards points. And I probably don't even do it to the best of its ability. But that is free money. As long as you're paying it off and never miss a payment. Free money that you can earn simply by swiping that card instead of a debit card. So I was very anti-credit card until, I don't know, what, 22, 23, 24, something like that, until I found out that was the case. And then I was like, well, as long as I know I can pay it off, there's no drawback. Which leads me into another thing that, again, with a very large, in bold, highlighted asterisk, as long as you can pay it off on time every month, another thing that you can potentially take advantage of is certain companies doing 24-month no-interest payments. I have done this on cell phones and furniture, personally. I think you can do it on some electronics and such as well. But if you have the money, don't spend money you don't have, but if you have the money and you can guarantee you're going to hit your monthly payments, if somebody offers a 24-month no-interest payment plan, it is a good move. Number one, I think keeping a little bit more cash on hand to pay other things off is good. But if you look at it on a very, very high personal finance level, if somebody isn't taking all of your money today, you can make investments with that money. And as long as your gain is higher than the normal interest rate, which again doesn't even really matter for you because your interest rate's locked in. As long as that's the case, then you could do other things with that money that will be more beneficial than you lump summing something that offered you 24-month no interest payments that you didn't take advantage of. So again, I'll reinforce, as long as it doesn't put you in a bad situation and you're not spending money that you shouldn't, those are usually good moves, in my opinion, from what I know. All right, cool. I'm going to hit the restroom real quick and fire up Rocket League, and then I've got some cool stats here I'm going to read off. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back in probably 120 seconds. And while I do that, actually, here, I'm going to do this. BRB. Okay. I'll have the camera back up here in just a sec. I'm finishing a couple things up. Just pop in there to the training mode. Get some more of this monologuing down. I got some work to do on this Rocket League rank, so I'm going to dive in for possibly quite a while on Rocket League tonight. Man, that was one of the roughest Fortnite sessions I've gone through thus far since streaming, I think. Woo! Luckily, I've got some decent stuff that I've accumulated from the last few weeks, but ain't nothing coming from today. I don't think there was anything clip-worthy, at least not in a good way, from that sesh. All right, so what I'm going to read off here in just a second is some pretty staggering statistics on the state of your everyday United States citizen's personal finance, and obviously this isn't true for any individual necessarily. It's all just the population of the U.S. But man, is some of this sobering. I'll read those off here in just a sec. Get the camera back up in just a sec. Alrighty, so stats on, where's my camera? There she is. Stats are related to the State of the Union for U.S. finances. Let's see. Amazon is hands down the best one to have. I assume you mean credit card. So, all right, cool. I haven't looked into the Amazon one. My bank has one that I've been very pleased with. But it could be something for me to check out. I'm not a big Amazon shopper overall, but that's how a lot of those cards are. Is they're extra useful if you do a lot of shopping at said outlet. I've got my bank's one just because I don't really shop anywhere a whole lot in particular that has a credit card that would be super advantageous. Anyways, okay, so here you go. This is an article from Forbes. So this is not me just digging through random forums or making stuff up my own. It's 13 scary financial statistics and how to help avoid becoming one by Forbes. This was updated in like about 6 months ago. Number 1. 56% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense. There you go. Like I said, $1,000 is the first step, I would say. 56% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense from their savings account. That is unreal. Over half. So over half of America can't afford $1,000 in an emergency scenario. I don't think I could sleep at night. Oh, goodness. Only about 2 in 3 adults could pay a hypothetical $400 expense using cash or its equivalent. So a third of adults cannot pay a $400 expense using cash. A third of adults. $400. Now, if you fall into that the wrong side of that, category equation, there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody should be giving you any flack for that, but fix that as soon as humanly possible, because it's crazy the amount of things that I can think of off the top of my head that could go wrong that would cost me more than $400. There's a laundry list of them. 24% of consumers have no savings set aside for emergencies. So I think that I've looked into this stat before. I think that means it doesn't include like a your normal bank account, like what's a debit account? I don't know why that phrase is escaping me, but your savings is a separate account, and 24% of consumers have no savings set aside, no separate account where they are putting money into to save for the future. 24% of consumers. $8,942 is the average credit card balance for U.S. households. Holy shit. $8,942. The average credit card balance? That's terrifying. I don't think mine has ever been above like $6,200, and that's for a 2-month period. And that was very, very, unique scenario. where I know I had one major expense that I put on that card that is not normal. $8,942 average credit card balance for U.S. households. Now I wonder if they are considering like a wife and husband as, you know, lumping those together. But anyways, I don't know. I don't need to look into that much. That's a lot of credit card debt though. 56% of workers say they expect to have less than $500,000 saved for retirement, including 36% forecasting less than $250,000 in savings. 56% of workers say they expect to have less than $500,000 saved for retirement when they retire, including 36% forecasting less than $250,000 in savings when they retire. That's pretty crazy as well. I mean, I started fairly early, not fairly aggressive, but fairly early in my retirement planning. So at least I had time working on my side, but my God, $250,000 when you're talking a retirement amount is really not that much, and more than a third. Only 22% of Americans nearing retirement say they have enough money to retire, down from 2021, so this is a 2022 stat. Only 22% of Americans near retirement say they have enough money to retire, down from 26% in 2021. So less and less people over time, based on these 2 years, are being able to afford retirement, which once you're in those later years of life, those are not things that you're going to want to, you know, have to worry about. That is a pretty terrifying thing if you're advanced in your years and you're getting to the point where you're either unable or uninterested in continuing to work, you know, a normal job. That's a pretty scary situation to encounter, because at that point, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of options. So as we've said multiple times, I think even Mr. Tipsy Taco said this in the chat earlier, build your roof before it rains. I don't really like my slide. It's the other way. That's not that bad. Yeah, not the type of thing that you're gonna want to encounter when you're advanced in your years and you're ready to kick back and relax. So I'm gonna probably do a separate day for retirement planning, probably far down the road. It's a little bit more of an advanced thing, and most of what I'm trying to, you know, put out there is geared towards your young adults that should think about retirement planning, but there's a lot more to it than what a 26-year-old or even a 30-year-old like me is thinking about. So just know that that's crazy, and the earlier you start, the better. Only 23% have a written plan for retirement, while 40% have done some planning but don't have a formal plan. So 23% of workers, let's see, or I don't know exactly what the premise for that stat is. Only 23% of people have a written plan for retirement, while 40% have done some planning but don't have a formal plan. So that's certainly better than nothing. 40% have at least thought about it and done some things towards retirement planning, which that's far better than doing nothing. But 23% only having a formal plan where there are numbers in order and you have a program that you are, you know, tracking on a yearly basis. That's pretty scary. So less than 1 in 4. 37% of people have done zero retirement planning. That is wild. 44% of retirees said their expenses in retirement are higher than expected. That's scary as well. That's probably a pretty common thing, because as time goes on and cost of living goes up, what money you have set aside goes, you know, it doesn't go as far. So it doesn't surprise me all that much, which is why it's better to have more than less when it comes to retirement. Oh, I can't do that. But Yeah, that just goes to show you, like, people who are ending up at the, you know, the hopeful end of the road, they've budgeted for a certain amount, and they're realizing I'm spending a lot more than I thought I was going to. You better get back to work in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to do so. 51% of American adults have delayed at least one important life decision in the last year for financial reasons, up to 20% of them from a similar survey conducted in 2007. Up 20%. So more American adults are delaying important life decisions based on financial reasons. Now that could be getting married, having kids, buying a house. If you have a certain, you know, time plan in mind, the delaying is like, hey, we can't afford this right now, so we're gonna have to put it off for another year and do some more, you know, delayed gratification stuff like I talked about earlier. That's a pretty big number though. 51%. That's crazy. Consumer Price Index. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head what the Consumer Price Index is, so I'm going to skip that one. But 6.89% was the current average mortgage rate, the highest level since November 2008, and that was October 6th, 2022. So mortgage rates are massive. S&P finished September. S&P is down bad. I'm not even going to read the full statistic on that, but the S&P is down bad, aka the stocks. So yeah, stocks are not looking great. Interest rates are not looking great. So overall, the financial state of the country is not great. So that just makes it all the more important for us to have as much cash on hand as civilians as possible. Be making good decisions. Have some of this stuff, you know, take an account for, where again, you don't even necessarily have to make changes on day one. Take inventory, see where you're at, see where you can make improvements, and go from there. But we've got to be paying close attention to this because the world is a crazy place right now. It always is, especially now. But the more savings you have and the better habits you have and the more income streams you have, the better you will be at, you know, resisting and overcoming some of these crazy things that might happen in the near future. But I think that's always a, you know, a good thing to strive for, is being in the best financial position possible. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a time of calamity all the time. CPI data, Consumer Price Index data, is pretty much consumer confidence. Okay. That makes some sense. I'm just going to look up a definition. Consumer. Because it could be something that folks have never heard of before that could be, you know, good information. No. Define. There we go. An index of the variation in prices paid by typical consumers for retail goods and other. So the confidence that people have in the prices of things that they typically have to buy, I would say, is maybe a layman's term. Here you go. What is Consumer Price Index in simple terms? What is the CPI? A measure of the average change over time in the prices paid by urban consumers for a market basket of consumer goods and services. So, measure of the change over time. So basically just like how much your necessities are going up. I would say, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that sounds like a pretty basic, down-to-earth terminology definition, is how much people are expecting their normal consumables to be going up, which for your day-to-day citizen is a very, very, very big deal. Okay, let's get in here. Let's get in here and God, I don't know, 2015, when honestly they weren't much different than that, which kind of adds to. And vowed to be on the right side of all of those statistics by doing a lot of the things that I talked about earlier. So strap up for 2023, yeah, for sure. Oh, the government is currently trying to raise that CPI month by month, so strap up for 2023. So strap up and prepare, ladies and gents. Prepare. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That is what I have to say for your general chunk of advice. Oh, there's no way. Wrong way on that. Yeah, I definitely did, but bummer. Strap up, prepare, sell shit you don't need, save money, find ways to make extra money. Get rid of any consumer debt you have, because my God, did that come into major play for a lot of people. I think the big 2008 crisis we saw, you know, people were neglecting a lot of these basic habits and paid the price for it. So I don't know that we'll ever see anything as drastic as 2008. I am no macroeconomist, so I can't speak to the truth of that. But in my opinion, you know, there are a lot of programs, and that caused so much craziness that I've got to think that either the government or some private agencies or people, you know, on an individual level, have maybe prepared a little bit. I can't think that it's that much, because out of sight, out of mind. And young folks like myself never really went through that time period where we were thinking about it in a financial respect. So, you know, it could be bad, could be even worse. But regardless, prepare for the worst. You know, prepare for something worse than 2008, so that if something like that happens, you're going to be aight. I botched that so hard. Still worked out. Nice. Good work, teammates. Strap on for 2023. Yes, that's exactly the moral of the story. You ready to take one? Not even take one for the team. That's the unfortunate part, is take one for yourself. That's a scary situation. Great pass that somehow got red. That's okay. All right. Not a triple commit, please. Touch. No, I was behind it too much. Crap. That was probably my fault. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a breakdown, you know, on some personal finance stuff. A couple of things I would say in general is cut back on your expenses. You know, I talked about increasing your income and finding ways to make more money. Cut back on your expenses if you're really in a situation where it's necessary. You know, buy cheaper grade items of whatever, you know, your consumable goods. I don't think it's a good idea to do that in the long run, because I think a lot of them are worse quality, maybe worse for the environment. If it's food, it's not as good for you. So I don't recommend using that as a long-term, you know, plan for your personal finance. But in the short term, if you really need to, do what you got to do. You're really out of sync right now. Dang. He's got in trouble. Alright, good deal. Oh no, he faked me so hard. At least he faked me. Okay. Let's get there. Oh my goodness. That's tough. Alright, I'm gonna have to pop off. It's gonna be like this. Yep, get there. God. True killing. I don't even care. BlackRock, the biggest investment company on the earth, said get ready for the biggest recession we've ever seen. Damn, that's wild. I think I actually did hear that. When that will be, I don't know. I would assume that they're likely talking about the somewhat near future. But if you think about it, I mean, COVID had a lot of really negative impacts on folks. It had a lot of really positive impacts on some folks, I would say almost myself included, where I was shut out from a lot of my spending and also got some of the stimulus stuff and whatnot. So maybe not true for every single person, but it most certainly had a lot of, for some people, negative impacts. So that coupled with, you know, the urge to buy a home when, you know, it might be stretching your budget a little bit. That could definitely cause some of that. I could see it. I could see it being very bad. My goodness, I can't imagine it being as bad as what I heard 2008 was. But hey, again, what do I know? Not a whole lot of much. Dang. Yeah, no matter what, like they said, prepare. Prepare at least. Prepare. And the good part about preparing, if you do, is when shit hits the fan with the economy, if you've prepared, you can often make a lot of money. People with money make money. So if nobody else has money and you do, not that you're, you know, screwing people that, you know, you love and care about out of anything, but you might be able to invest in something that is down that you know is going to be able to rebound. Nice. So prepare, no matter what. Don't be a part of some of these crazy statistics we read earlier. I mean, everybody's a part of them, but I'm saying again, being on the wrong side of them. This kid is bumping me every 8 seconds. Wow. Ooh, good play. Tried to chip it up. Nice. Good stuff. Did that on purpose because I knew they were just going to expect me to punch it back in. Do it. Do it. Do it. Nice. Good play. I thought somebody was up there for that. Dang it! Nope. Oh boy. I got a little bit more to discuss here shortly. But for right now, for this game, I gotta get some positive going when it comes to gaming, man. It's been a tough evening. That's right. Ooh. Close. I mean, sir, are you gonna... Bummy. Get out of my house, dude. You're pissing me off. What a play. Kid really loves his bumps. Fail. I mean, bumping cars. In Rocket League. Bummer. That was the right play on his end. Oh, that was a really good play, honestly. Oh no! No, I thought that was the end of the game. Cool! We're still in it. Please go out. Oh my goodness. That was terrifying. Oh, we can do this. go. Take any dub I can get right now. Very nice. All right, so the last part of the topic tonight is why am I even in the slightest qualified to talk about this sort of topic? And like with all these other topics, I am the first to admit to you that I am not great in this category. I have work to do like everybody else. This is not a way for me to puff my chest and flex and say, look at me, I'm so great. But for me, when I am listening to any sort of advice, I would just want to know, why the heck should I believe anything that you have to say? And my personal finance journey started when, I think it was probably in that class that I took in high school where I just was, you know, was encouraged to start some of this stuff up. It's when I first learned to use Excel, which I immediately started using for a personal budget of my own, just where I would track current bank account, current income, current expenses, and then set a couple of goals like, you know, get my first car, get my first laptop, yada, yada, yada. So have been working at this for, I don't know, it's over 10 years at least. We'll say over 10 years. I've gone through good and bad financial parts of my life. So I've kind of rode the waves a little bit. It's never been easy, and it's never been, it has not been like I've been balling since 2011. I can probably, that was a lot faster than expected, but I wasn't on that. But, yeah, so more than anything, I've just like researched and worked at this for many, many years. I, you know, was able to hit the 3,000 in the bank a couple of months after working, you know, starting my work as in full-time sales. The only reason that was the case was because I got a part-time job. So I was working in sales, got a part-time job stocking a grocery store's shelves. I saved until I had, you know, that emergency fund and was tired of working there, and then I quit. Which I felt a little bit bad about, but at the same time, it's like, where else can you get a college graduate who's friendly enough to work in corporate sales for $8.25 an hour, or however much it was. So I felt bad, but also didn't feel bad given the scenario. Oh, man, I can't believe that. And I also can't believe no one's here. So anyways, hit that first. You know, I took inventory very early on in my life and kind of got things in order to some degree. I got that first, you know, emergency fund thing taken care of pretty quickly. I then, you know, had some things change financially in my life to where I was strapped for cash again and had to kind of reevaluate. And I started working not only full-time, but again, part-time, but on an Uber Lyft driver basis. I was working a lot in those avenues. So, you know, we're not talking 6 hours a week. We're talking 20 hours a week, sometimes more. I would work holidays. Wasn't going on vacations, wasn't spending any unnecessary money, just until I got back to, you know, some of those checkpoints that I talked about earlier. That was awful. Pass was not bad. Yeah, using a lot of those practices and making extra money. I slowly but surely over time, and I most certainly treated myself at times to either a vacation or to a night out or whatever. But before long, aka about, I'd say 26, something like that. And I'm 30 currently. Ever since about 26, haven't had to hardly budget or take much inventory. I still do, but I don't have to watch it with any sort of worry. I watch it just to watch the numbers go up and down, but when it comes to me and my personal finances, it's all just keeping track. I don't have to make a whole lot of changes. I pretty much do whatever I want, with very little regard for my finances. Now that's kind of on the monthly spending. That is most certainly not the case when it comes to like buying a house or buying a nice car that I can't afford, or buying like the nicest electronics or the newest phone or whatever. Let's go. I think I bumped this guy out of the way. I did. Oh, I almost bumped him into the save, but good play. But yeah, so if you can do this at an early-ish age, go in close. You do this at an early age, you know, depending on your scenario. Granted, again, I'm single, I'm 30, I've worked in sales my whole career, so not that I make a ton of money, but compared to some professions, I might make a little bit more, but certainly compared to some others, I make less. So, it's all an individual perspective, but based on my decisions and where my finances were, I didn't really have to ever worry about money for the most part after I was about 26. So yeah, if that's something that sounds nice, and if you're early enough to where you can start to take inventory and make some of these changes, you very well might be able to be in a far better position than I am, because I am not great when it comes to my monthly spending, especially nowadays. So if you're more diligent and disciplined than I am, you could be leaps and bounds beyond me. But once I hit that certain point where I had enough money for my normal expenses and I had a good solid emergency fund, I was ready to party. So, I had worked a lot of my younger years, multiple jobs for a lot of them, as you heard a second ago. So once I reached that point, it was kind of time to, all right, it's time to reward myself.
Going to need a tune-up after that.
But if that doesn't end up being the case for you, then shoot, again, you could be far better financially than I am. So, God, this is so depressing to keep playing these games at a low rank and not rank up. Keep going. So yeah, hopefully something that's helpful. As with, again, most of the topics I'm going to cover, I encourage everybody to do their own research and do their own due diligence on this topic to figure out what works for you. But hopefully tonight was a start and at least a point in the right direction for personal finance, some exposure to some of the concepts that you may or may not have been familiar with already, and a friendly reminder to build your roof before it rains, because who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. So now is a good time to tighten up the screws, cut back on spending where you can, increase income as you can, bump those savings up, maybe sell some stuff that you that has value that you're not using anymore, and just start to prepare for what could come in the next couple of years. So money's a big deal. Money can be a very big make or break in life satisfaction nowadays, whether we like it or not. It is here to stay. So get educated, get disciplined, sooner rather than later, and hopefully it will help you live a, you know, happier life and more satisfactory life than if you hadn't done any of this work and any of this research, any of that stuff. So do it for your own good, you and your future self. If you'd like more on personal finance, I believe it was probably two Mondays ago. One of the first couple of Monday episodes, I did a topic called Your Name Here LLC that was also personal finance related. So it could be worth checking out if it's something that you're working on or are interested in learning about. So feel free to check that out if you'd like to. But yeah, expect more personal finance related topics and stream, you know, covering sessions down the road. But hopefully that was helpful, at least for tonight. Now let's focus on fixing this Rocket League rank. We get caught out because we double committed that. I'm pissed. Touch. I think this kid is a solos or a doubles player, honestly. Playing threes. First touch was too aggressively away from me. Okay. Nope, on the goal line, still can't hit her in. Shit. I lagged right before that. Lagged again. Work. Gotta keep these touches closer to me, man. Seen that coming. Did a good bounce. Yep. Bounce shot. Wanted a more powerful push there, but his head. Lagging again. Ooh, good pinch there. Ooh! Man, close. That tipped back at the last second there. Almost did the trick. The aerial control feels terrible right now. I'm going back to the lobby really quick here and just make 150% sure that my settings are all the way down. Steering, yeah, it's crazy. I feel like every controller I've used since that red one that I was using for a while, every controller other than that one, the sensitivity is just so much higher than it needs to be. I have to look into that. Alright, I guess I don't need this anymore. Making ice. I have to make ice by hand here in my apartment, so a lot of these, like, where the heck did he go? I'm like checking to see if the ice is ready to break yet or not. Nice. Nothing like double committing off the kickoff. Get out of my face. Look at that, it's just, even off the ball, it's tipping so heavily. After making contact with the ball, I feel like that's gotta be my aerial sensitivity. Dang it. Look at that! Recoil is insane! I gotta just get used to it at this point, honestly. Like I said the other day, I can't just keep cycling through controllers and complaining about them every single time. Close. Oh. Crap, that was terrible. Nice. Oh man, I saw that coming. Move quick enough. I missed. Oh my god. Not that that was an easy shot, but that is a shot that I should be hitting 9 out of 10 times. Alright, we're all pushing up again. Give me your boost, son. Oops. Same thing, but the opposite. Challenge set. Great. Trouble. Oh, this is what I hate about low diamond lobbies, is that your teammates are low diamond. You're used to playing with higher experienced people and making team plays and having better positioning. I was high plat for so long for that exact reason. I wasn't saying that I was like worthy of higher lobbies necessarily. I just play like a higher tiered person when it comes to team play. My individual play sucks compared to a lot of these kids, but my team play is a lot better, and that can win you a lot of games because it's 3v3. Now I'm stuck back in the loop. Dang it. Whoa! I mean, they're going for demos. They're rotating a lot better. God. I shouldn't have missed that. Be there. See, there's always a goalie. Crazy. Oh man, a sweaty Monday. Sweaty Monday. Diamond 1-1. Probably get a couple more games in here and then call it. Can only take so much more torture. And now it's going to take forever to queue. All right, pop-off game right here. Come on. Look at that recoil! Oh my goodness, dude. I gotta figure out what the heck's going on with this. For my controls, it seems like almost it's more my controls at this point than the controller. But man, my aerial sense is just so high. Good touch there. Oh, shoot. Couldn't hit. I probably just need to, again, I've said this before, just get used to it more than anything. Let's just dogpile the ball, guys. Good idea. I'm lagging. Awesome. I'll kick straight down. He actually touched it. I think higher aerial sense would come in handy for me. I just gotta get used to it. Oop, they both went forward again. Should be a goal. Nice. Doesn't seem that bad except for on the up and down. Anyways, I'm not complaining. Hit. I should have gone for that. Well, double touch, not a great one, but oh, good block. That was a free goal. Bounce shot. I just landed against the ground. Bad touch. Put one in there. So at least get that on our path. Oh boy! That was spicy. Well done, sir. Wow. Oh, Daddy 69. Ah, it's too hard. Heavy. Free goal? Nice shot. Oh, please, somebody be nice. Be there to follow it up. Ooh, I should have gone out for that. Should have gone out for that. Pretty good shape, at least. Alright, let's go. Diamond 1-2, salvaged it. Alright, we're at about 3.5 hours here, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it for tonight. Monday's always a tough one to go long on. With it, you know, just being Monday. I will knock these rewards things real quick. Be back in action on Wednesday. May try to rest up and go for an extended. That's the one I already have, isn't it? It is. May try to rest up and go for an extended time on Wednesday this week, because again, I don't believe I will be streaming on Friday. Going to see Excision here in Denver. That is definitely the top priority for the evening. So I think I'm gonna be able to hit all the windows, hit almost all of them. I think maybe all of them so far. So I can't feel too bad about that. But got a couple of gaps this month for both work and personal reasons. So I'm gonna try to make up for them on the days I am streaming, but it's a tough one tonight. So anyways, yeah, hope everybody enjoyed tonight talking about personal finance and watching me do very mediocre at video games as usual, but even more so tonight. But I'm confident we'll get it back here soon and get some more bangers going. But in the meantime, I will see you guys Wednesday, 6 to 8 Mountain Time, 8 to 10 Eastern Time, with an asterisk on the end time, because again, very good chance that I'll go extra. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed. Hope you guys can take some of these concepts and challenges and recommendations and run with them and make some positive changes for yourselves. But we'll be back in action here very soon. Hope you all have a good rest of the week regardless. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, both live and on replays. And yeah, keep winning. Keep winning out there. Keep winning. Keep figuring out ways to improve and win. So, talk to everybody soon. Have a good rest of your Monday night.